And my first questions that I have for you, which branch of the military did you serve in and what did you do?
Okay, well, you can probably see from my background. I was in the Marine Corps. I ended up I was born and raised in California, and I went to boot camp in San Diego. I went to Schools Battalion Camp Pendleton, and then they decided that I had gotten too comfortable with California, so they stationed me in Jacksonville, North Carolina. So I was with the 2nd Marine Division. I was an Amtractor, so it was amphibious tanks. And I spent a good portion, almost 18 months of my 4-year enlistment on board a ship, believe it or not, as a Marine. Yeah.
Now that's pretty funny. Anyway, just to let you know, I was born in Camp Pendleton and raised in the Marine Corps. And my father and my stepfather were both World War II veterans, as was my mother. They were all disabled World War II veterans. So I was born and raised in the Corps, so hoorah. And then Tyreece, if we could introduce you.
Well, I'm Tyreece Jats. I also went to boot camp at Camp Pendleton. I'm an 0111, which is admin. I was stationed in Parris Island, called a PI, and I basically spent my whole enlistment there. And went to a few other places. I did school back at Camp Johnson, which was in North Carolina, and that was pretty much it. That was my Marine Corps career.
Well, that's okay, because I also was an admin and I was a personnel specialist way back in the day. I'm a Vietnam era veteran. I spent most of my tour at Fort Knox, Kentucky, and worked at the Home of Armor, go Tankers. So, thank you, gentlemen, for being a guest on the show, and thank you for your military service. So I'd like to go ahead and ask you both this question. How and why did you become a county veteran service officer? We're going to start there.
I've actually worked with the county now almost 18 years. I used to work in the airline industry as an aircraft mechanic. And then that industry started to sort of kind of take a downturn back in the early 2000s. So I wanted to sort of branch out and do different work. So I started with the county of San Mateo and the Human Services Agency, and worked through various different departments in the Human Services Agency. Now, I happen to be one of the few veterans that that was in the Human Services Agency. And when the County of San Mateo made a decision to expand veteran services, to make a point of really reaching out and serving veterans and their family members and making veteran services accessible, they expanded the positions and actually assigned it to a new director. I happen to be very good friends with that director, and she asked me, being a veteran, would you mind helping me navigate this process as we stand this office up, and also as the county established a veterans commission. So I assisted there on top of doing my regular job, and I really enjoyed it. And then once it was stood up and we had a veteran services officer in place and veteran services reps and an office structure in place, I was able to step back. The enjoyment I had working with folks that I could really connect with, that I could really understand. And more importantly, when I got out of the military, one of the first stops I made was a veteran services office over in Guilford County, North Carolina. And that gentleman made a big difference for me, helped me get my feet on the ground. When I moved back to California, one of the first stops I made was at the Veteran Services office in San Mateo County. And so the position meant a lot to me, and I was very grateful for that opportunity. Well, fast forward a few years, and my friend, the director, came back and said, hey, the Veteran Services officer position is going to be vacated soon. Is that something that you'd be interested in doing? And I said, well, I need to think about it. And I don't know why I said that, because within 20 minutes, I thought to myself, of course, I'd love to be able to go and do this full time. So I became the Veteran Services Officer in December of 2019, and just got started. And before you know it, we kind of got shut down by the pandemic. But I've had an opportunity to become accredited both through the California Association of County Veteran Services Officers and CalVet, and now through the National Association of County Veteran Services Officers. I've had an opportunity to actually take claims, work with veterans, do a lot of outreach. It's the best employment decision I've ever made in my life.
And now that you said that, I'm just going to say, when I became an EDD vet rep way back in the day, in the early 90s, I felt exactly the same way, because you know what, guys? You're empowered to make a difference in the lives of veterans, and you make a huge impact. And there's nothing better when a week later or 2 weeks later, after someone you met sends you a little note, calls you up on the phone and says, thank you so much. You made a difference for me and my family. And so now, Tyreece, tell us how you became a vet rep. Thank you, Ed.
Well, I'm a veteran outreach coordinator. So basically my job is to find ways to reach out to veterans. We'll get them into the office. Basically, before I started, I didn't know anything about it. I came in, I thought I was going to be just working on a website. But after, maybe a few hours, or a day or two, I figured out that I needed to reach out or find ways to reach out and get these veterans in. Our numbers, they're good, but they're not where they can be, And so basically my whole goal is to utilize Instagram, to Facebook, the social media websites or apps to get veterans in, because as you know, the younger veterans now, everyone's on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube. And if you can get them through what they stay on or what they're utilizing each day and every day, you can get them in. You have to pass the word. And that's basically what I'm trying to do.
Well, thank you both for agreeing to be a guest on the VHV TV. I don't know if you've seen any of the shows we produce, but we are Community Education Access, and we are based at the Midpen Media Center, which is in Palo Alto. Now, I live in Southern California, and because of the pandemic, I cannot get up to the studio. So everything we've done in the last year and a half is all virtually. And this is like our 21st, 22nd interview and our 14th interview so far this year. I've never been so creative in my life, because now I don't have to go to a studio. There's two of us that create this content. And so hopefully it will increase your traffic. And like I said, thank you for agreeing to be guests on our show today. So now, this is one thing I know that veterans may not really know, is there are so many amazing benefits available for the veterans that they just don't know they exist, which is where you guys come in, because some of the programs that I'm familiar with, and you can certainly educate me on if these are still available and what the newest changes are, things like, for instance, I know you will help veterans file for service-connected disabled benefits with the VA, because that's part of your job. You kind of act as a liaison between the veterans seeking the benefits and try to help them get through the bureaucracy of the system and help them at least initiate the paperwork, if nothing else. Can you speak to that?
Absolutely. Service connection is probably our most frequently requested service. Now, it's important to note that the County Veteran Services offices and the County Veteran Services staff are all county employees. We're not VA employees. And that's actually important. We're accredited through CalVet. And we have folks with years and years of experience helping to file claims for everything from service connection to non-wartime pension, aid and attendance, every benefit you can imagine. And you're absolutely right. There's such a huge slew of benefits that one of our biggest projects is actually to put a website together where a veteran can go and actually access, again, tremendous amount of information about benefits out there. Service Connection, though, is probably one of the most important programs that we assist with. And in terms of assist, what that means is a veteran can apply for any benefit on their own. You can actually go to va.gov and file a claim. The thing is that the claims process is, I think you said it, it's very cumbersome. There's quite a bit involved. And more importantly, when you file a claim, the quality of the claim has a lot to do with the outcome, right? The VA is looking for three things. They're looking for a current disability. They're looking for an incident or exposure in service that caused or contributed to that disability. And they're looking for the evidence to connect it to. And in particular, if you're someone who's been out of service for 20 years, 30 years, the evidence becomes really important, because what you're saying is that an ailment that I'm dealing with today, it was caused by an incident or exposure in service. Now, the VA has to validate that, and the VA does have a standard of as likely as not, which is 50-50. And if we can establish or meet that threshold, then the veteran themselves is the adjudication that goes in the favor of the veteran. That process, though, takes time. Collecting the evidence takes time. Accessing service treatment records, service records, et cetera, takes time. Veteran services representatives are being accredited can act as a power of attorney on behalf of the veteran when they pursue these claims for any claim, whether again it's aid and attendance, educational benefits, service compensation, et cetera.
So what you're trying to make is you are not the deciding person or agency that makes the final decision on whether or not that veteran gets that benefit, correct?
Correct. More importantly, we're your advocate. We're applying all our expertise to represent you and help you get access to those benefits. So it starts by having a comprehensive conversation on the front end to talk about what it is we want to make a service claim for. Let's talk about what it's going to require in order to establish that service connection. And let's talk about how we're going to work together to put all that information together so we can submit a claim. And the VA does take two types of claims. They take your traditional claim because the VA does have a degree of responsibility in helping gather the evidence to support a claim. But that can take quite a bit of time. And the VA has certain structure that they follow. So for example, if they need to access private medical records, they'll reach out to the medical provider a few times. But if they're unable to access that information, they will just say, well, we tried, we didn't get it. Versus what is referred to as a fully developed claim. And a fully developed claim is a claim where the Veteran Services Representative and the veteran work together to actually pull all the information together ahead of time. So that when it's submitted, it's fast-tracked. In other words, it can go directly to the review officers and they can review knowing that the information that they need to make a decision is already included in that package. So that can expedite the process for a claim tremendously.
What's the fastest claim turnaround you've seen?
I think it's actually my own claim.
Oh, no, that is funny.
It just so happened that that knowing what to do allowed me to go directly to the information that I needed, and go directly to my medical provider and work with them pretty clearly on what I was there for, what I needed from them, etc. Put it all together in really a comprehensive package that makes it very clear that there's a service-connected issue here, and completed the CMP exam, which is a compensation and pension exam, which the VA will conduct as a part of their adjudication process, and got the claims settled. And I want to say it only took about 4 months.
Well, that's excellent. Actually, I know people, it's taken them 10 years or longer, but that's from back in the day before everything was computerized. So to be fair to the VA, they do have a excellent online system there where you can initiate your claim. But you're absolutely right. The better prepared you are as a veteran, when you meet your county veteran service officer, the faster you get the response from the VA. So, research and paperwork, it's all key to everything you do, especially from your military service, because everything is recorded, as you know. So we're going to get into talking about more benefits that veterans may not be aware of. So Tyreece, can you tell me how many veterans there are in San Mateo County?
Maybe like 24,000 actually, somewhere around there. 24,000. It's not many. I mean, the Bay Area seems like most veterans are moving away. They're going to other places, other states, like Texas and places basically where it's cheaper to live.
Well, the Bay Area is, I'm from the Bay Area and I can't afford to live up there. So, that is unfortunately, the way of life it is up there in the Bay Area. But, for 24,000 veterans who may not know that if they're service-connected disabled, that their children can go to college for free on the College Fee Waiver Program. That's one program that I used to love to tell veterans about that program when it first came out, because it changes lives and their kids get the education they need to move on with their lives and their careers. So it was a wonderful, wonderful program.
Yes.
Right? Can you speak a little bit about that, Tyreece?
Well, within that program, I believe if you're a California resident, your children can pretty much go to any state school, if you're a veteran. And I mean, it's nice. I use my GI Bill to finish college. And if you can, I mean, if if you can send your kids to school for free, I mean, it's nice. It's nice because school now is very expensive, the books and everything else. But yes, yeah, any state school, I believe that it will pay a portion of the private schools, but it won't pay the full amount. So that's a whole nother story there, because those schools are even more expensive, almost double. So
But it's a great benefit for veterans that may not know that their children are eligible. And another benefit that you guys assist with, I'm assuming here, is at least initiate the paperwork and contacts if they're interested in getting a home and they have the income to buy a home through CalVet. Do you help with that?
yes, I believe we help with that, right, Ed? The VA home loans, pretty much getting them signed up for it. Depending on where you live, they give you a certain amount of money, and you put that towards your home, and you pay. Oh, if you're connected, you don't have to put down like the down payments and everything else. So it's a pretty good program, especially living here. But I don't know. I think they raised the amount they will give you here in the Bay Area, because when I got out, it was $250,000. So I don't know what it is now. That was back in 2015. You know, and prices have really skyrocketed since then.
VA healthcare is a tremendous program. VA burial benefits are a program that's overlooked. And again, veterans don't realize how many different benefits are out there for them, even when it comes to burial. So just some of the benefits, our goal will be someday, in not too distant future, to have a website together that gives people easy access to all this information. And perhaps Tyreece can talk a little bit about that and his experience from earplugs.
Yeah, that'd be great, Tyreece. Can you speak to us about that? Because it was a class action lawsuit brought by veterans for the GM company because they issued these earplugs that didn't work properly. So take it away.
Yeah, the first time I heard about it was, I think I was on Google or maybe Facebook or something like that, and an ad came up, and it was, yeah, it was a 3M lawsuit. I was like, oh, I used to use those earplugs when I was downrange, and I guess they ended up being bad. They're not good. And when I was downrange, actually they really didn't stop the sound. I mean, I can definitely hear everything. I can hear the person next to me if they were whispering to me. So yeah, they were defective. I haven't filed any claims or anything in regards to the earplugs, but I definitely noticed, well, just during my time there, we basically all used them. Right now, I think I may have some type of hearing loss, because I definitely can't hear as good as I used to. So
Well, you bring up a good point. The younger veterans, sometimes they have a tendency not to apply for a benefit because they think, one, either they don't deserve it, or it's not bad enough, or they put it off for a decade or 20 years, when in actuality, part of what you do in your job is to educate the veteran and to encourage them to apply for that benefit. Because even if they deny it the first time, if you keep at it, the system is designed to rule in favor of the veteran if you do the process the correct way. And certainly Ed spoke to that earlier with the veterans being prepared and having done some of their research and having access to their medical records. All that stuff makes a difference. So the better prepared you are, the veteran is prepared to access those benefits, the faster they can potentially get those benefits. So are you service connected now? And that's my first question. My second question is PTSD and how it relates to your generation of veterans and why they need to get help sooner than later. That's more kind of a question, but what do you think about what I'm trying to say?
well, as far as being service connected, I am not. I'm still behind on that. I probably should be service connected, but I just haven't got around to it. But I'm going to do it. And as far as PTSD, yeah, that's a touchy one. I do think that a lot of, well, I'm gonna speak for the Marines. A lot of Marines should do it sooner than later. A lot of us we're stubborn. That's what it comes down to. We don't think we have any problems or anything, and so just to kind of escape from those problems, we turn to like drinking and stuff like that, and I things tend to go away for the time being, but you know, the next day they're back, you know. And so just figuring out a way to basically get the point across that you need to be service. I mean, you need to get tested for PTSD, or you need help, or that can be a touchy one, you know, depending on who you're talking to and what type of Marine you're talking to, you know. And so I do think quite a bit of Marines during my time have it, you know, PTSD. Yeah. And some of them won't admit it. Some will. It may take time for them to get help, but I think at the end of the day, with all of the benefits and stuff out there, and more Marines are seem to be trying to get connected with certain things, GI Bill, and you know, we're utilizing the education benefits. And I think, you know, when they come in for that, maybe we can, you know, let them know that there's, you know, other help that they can possibly get, you know.
But since you're talking about the GI Bill, let's talk a little bit about that. And what a great GI Bill. You guys have the best GI Bill of all time, right? But really, in my day, you had a 10-year limitation. After 10 years, it was gone forever. And now you guys really, truly have the forever GI Bill, correct?
Yes, that's correct. I've used mine. When I first got out, I registered for school, because before I went in, I was in college, and my goal was basically to go in, and once I got out, to finish. You know, I was a junior, and I needed to finish college. That's one of my biggest goals in life. And so I used it, and basically they pay you BAH, which is the housing allowance that's around here, and they pay you the price of living around here, which is huge, especially if you're living at home and all of that money is going just directly to you. So that definitely works. And they pay for your school. I mean, your classes, your books, and everything else. You basically just have to be a good student and graduate. You know, if you don't, you end up paying that money back, because they will take it back. So
Well, when I got out of the Army, I got out early out to go to college, and I went to Skyline up the hill in San Bernardino, and I went to San Francisco State. And for me personally, the GI Bill was the absolute best thing that ever happened to me, because it truly changed my life. So Ed, do you have any additional comments that you'd like to make, or something maybe I forgot to talk about?
The only thing I think I would add is just to touch on the PTSD conversation a bit. I do want to acknowledge that I think the military has done a much better job of acknowledging mental health issues and mental health in general while in service. It's important, though, to note that mental health is something that you need to work on for the rest of your life. It doesn't end right when you get out of service. The VA has some outstanding programs, in particular down in Menlo Park and Palo Alto, that address mental health concerns. And if you think about it, you can go to your primary care physician and have a conversation with them about what you experienced. Maybe they'll understand, maybe it'll resonate, maybe it won't. But when you go on to one of the VA sites and you're working with a program like the Vet Center, and you're surrounded by folks who have worked with veterans, have heard veteran stories, many of them are veterans themselves, you find a whole different level of understanding that occurs. And I can't even begin to tell you how many folks that we have referred to the Vet Center and other programs like that who have come back and said that it's been a life-changing experience. When you walk into our office, again, our primary goal is to help you. It's not just accessing benefits, because benefits make up a portion of what it takes to be a successful person in this community. We look at everything from helping you understand what's out there to even connecting you with different service providers. One of the biggest areas that we really want to continue to expand on is helping veterans connect with employment resources, both helping you prepare to join the workforce, all the way to employers that call us all the time looking for veterans. And I'll tell you what, I can say with all sincerity, veterans make outstanding employees, absolutely outstanding employees. And I'm not trying to be self-serving by saying that, because I have veterans that work for me, and I can tell you that tenacity, that work ethic carries over, and employers love that. So we look at it from the complete picture perspective. You come to us, let's say you're a young military You're young, you just got out of the military. You're looking to use your GI Bill. So let us connect you with the Veterans Resource Centers at the local colleges. You want to get on your feet? Well, we've got a few training programs like the Veterans Curation Program located next to College San Mateo. It's a program that's 6 months long. They work with veterans in a paid internship program where they actually teach them all sorts of office skills while getting paid. So when they go to apply for that first job, their resume is actually legible to a civilian. Think about that. A civilian trying to translate your leadership skills in military lingo. It's very difficult. Once you get an opportunity to participate in a program, you know how to write a resume. You know how to leverage those really important skills that you learned and you picked up and you honed in the military. And that's just one of the programs that are out there. Like I said, all the way to employers, mental health, help you connect with a trustworthy real estate agent, with a trustworthy broker that truly understands VA home loans. And let me just put this out there. Just because your broker says they know VA home loans doesn't mean they know VA home loans, okay? If you want to get connected with someone who is accredited through CalVet or who is endorsed through veterans organizations, contact us, we'll connect you with them. Getting you access to healthcare, which I didn't even know I had access to healthcare for almost 15 years after I got out of the military. And I would pay for my own healthcare because I had no idea, right? Everything that we can do to help make you successful, to get you up on your feet and help you have a good, successful experience in college, find a good job, get access to all those benefits. That's our goal. So if you come in our office, that's what we're going to try to do for you. So that's what I'd want to have. Everything under the sun we can help you with, we're going to do it.
And Ed, could you be so kind as to give us your phone number?
We're at 550 Quarry Road in San Carlos. Our offices right now, because of COVID, are only open for walk-ins 2 days a week. But we're open to talk with you over the phone, do video chats, and scheduled appointments 5 days a week. So just give us a call at 650-802-6598. So we want to make ourselves as accessible as possible. And if you just want to drop in one day, we're open on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 8 a.m. to about 4 p.m.
Thank you, sirs. And thank you for your work. Thank you so much. Appreciate you.